Alright, hi everyone, this is audap. Let's play Tetris Effect Connected, running on PlayStation 2 VR and on PlayStation 5. This is just for fun. Obviously, I don't have anything new to cover on this game. But I really haven't been playing enough of my PSVR, so yeah, let's play more of it. I think normal's fine, right? Yeah, I think the thing to remember with PSVR is, you know, the playfield is sort of hanging out far away from you. So, like, imagine if you were in a theater playing Tetris. It's kind of the feeling you get here, that you get an object that's a little farther away, and the backgrounds are, you know, sort of presented in like a curved screen in the back. And I'm trying to describe this for those who are wondering what it's like. Effects like that, where like particles kind of rush towards you in the air, those come from around you and sort of, you know, brush up against you. As far as your vision is concerned. So that's really where the 3D-ness of the experience comes in. Is that you know, the screen's a little farther away, and you know, obviously the fills like most of your vision, and the effects swoop in all around you. You know, not just something that exists in just 2D space. Again, sort of hard to describe, but I think if you're going to play this game and you happen to have a VR set, then this is really the way to do it. You know, have a good stereo setup, or you can go for surround headphones if that's your thing. Personally, I think home theater really works incredibly well with this game. It takes advantage of some very aggressive surround sound channels. Even that one actually made me a little dizzy. A little swerving effect there. And I am not the greatest Tetris player. I think I do okay. Some folks at home probably can be screaming their heads off about all the combinations I could be getting. So I apologize. I'm not that good at this. I just like it. I just enjoy it, even if I'm not particularly that good at it. I think the thing to get used to in VR is that your the top of your screen is significantly higher than what you might be used to. So you actually have to kind of look up a little bit in order to see the very top of the screen. You know, that's by design. You know, they want to give you that feeling that it's in a very big space. And certainly that's one way to go about it. And this is a real trip, because that playfield is awfully large as it comes in closer to you. When you realize how big it is. It's like the size of a probably like a 6-story building. It's pretty big. And my bit of advice is that when you're calibrating your vision for where the center of the screen is, just look down slightly. Otherwise, what calibration tends to do is it tends to place the top of the screen too high up, and you end up looking sort of at the lower half of the screen. The virtual screen, meaning you're not looking dead center at the virtual screen. You're kind of looking like a little below that, and that's to me that's not ideal. Like I want to look dead center at the overall playfield. I mean that's how I have my TV set up. Is that it's at my seated eye level is the center of the TV. But that's not the case on a traditional setup. A traditional VR setup. For whatever reason, somebody decided that it should be just a little higher. I don't know. I think that person should be flogged, whoever that person is. Like, I don't know why you'd want to watch something that's like slightly below your vision in the middle. I don't know why somebody thought that was a great idea. But every time I follow the guides on where to look, the center of the screen is always higher than where I expect it to be. It's one of those things I wish you could tweak, but unfortunately that is not the case. So like if you feel like the screen is a little off, then I say look down a little bit before you hold the start button to sort of readjust where the screen is going to be, or the center of the screen is going to be in your field of vision. See, like I'm trying to kind of spin it around a little bit, so I don't have to crank my head up to look at the top of the screen, because that's bonkers in my opinion. Certainly not good for comfort. Yeah, this background is especially cool because the planet surface really does look like it's laid out in front of you, with this this little Tetris box just kind of floating in the air. And even though this is just Tetris, it's actually one of the best VR experiences. I really can't stress that enough. You can be nice and relaxed and sitting at home. You don't have to stand up like you're at some sort of board meeting in order to play a game. You don't have to make goofy motions to do very, very simple things which could easily be done with a controller. None of that VR weirdness is here. It's just a nice game to play. And I wish that was more of a goal for people who are making, quote-unquote VR experiences. Usually when somebody says they're making a VR experience, that's usually the game I don't want to play. Because then it's going to make me do, stupid stuff like in Call of the Mountain, where running is literally moving your hands up and down, and walking backward is making a motion like you're pushing somebody away. It's like, that is not how I walk backwards. Don't walk backwards by making a shoving motion. It's like if you get too obsessed with the motion control portion of your game, especially with controllers that actually have control sticks on them, I don't know what you're doing. That's all I can say. Other than that, Rising Call of the Mountains is cool to look at, but kind of a chore to play, honestly. Like, I wish somebody would tell developers, you don't have to do the motion control, or maybe somebody does tell them that they have to do that. I really don't know. If that's true, if Sony says you must absolutely have people do wacky motions, then shame on Sony. And generally, I'm not a critic of motion controls. Like during the Wii era, I thought the motion controls were fine, but that's mainly because they were simple, right? I mean, all you had to do was waggle the stick a little bit, maybe move left and right on occasion. The worst of the waggles were always like thrusting forward, or rotating your wrist or something like that. I mean, those never worked particularly well. But it was just shaking the controller, or maybe pointing it in a certain direction. I mean, those were fine. And I think I maintain that here too. If these motion controls were just very, very simple and didn't require me to bend down and do all sorts of goofy stuff, then I'd be more fond of them. But I didn't like doing the goofy, the goofy unreliable stuff on the Wii, and I certainly don't like doing it on the PSVR either. I mean, for some people, they say that's immersive to them, and more power to you. I'm glad you like that bullshit. Me, not so much. Ooh, that's nice. Yeah, like the seagulls are just in front of the screen, and kind of surrounding you all over the place. It's a nice effect. And again, I don't have to make some goofy motion. I don't have to pretend I'm opening a door or looking at my wrist or whatever god-awful thing that somebody thought was a good idea at the time. Someone who clearly doesn't like playing games. And it's supposed to be more intuitive, quote unquote more intuitive to have these motions that you would do every day. But I really don't agree. In the video game world, resistance is everything, right? In the real world, like if you walk up to a door handle, you have a physical feeling of something. It gives you a certain amount of resistance, and that's what part of what makes it a real experience. In the video game world, you're pushing buttons. You're not feeling any resistance. You're not feeling any weight. So that sense of realism isn't there, and it just feels like you're, pantomiming something. And again, not my personal choices, just to pantomime emotion just for the sake of it. Yeah, some of them zooming in fact really hit your motion sickness. Just for a brief second though. nothing which I think would make you throw up. I think it would just make your head feel a little funny for just a tiny little bit. I think it's part of the fun of VR2 is sort of experience your mind trip. And I really do encourage folks to, think about picking up the PSVR2. I think I've had a lot of fun with it, even though I haven't dedicated that much time to it. The few experiences that I do have are good. The only exceptions being the games that try to make too much of a use of motion. I think so far those have been, a little bit of a failure, unfortunately, at least in my eyes. Like Discronia is really cool. Cool game, and I want to play more of it, but I hate wrestling with the motion control. I mean, that just turns me off from playing it every time, even though I want to see what happens at the end of that story. I'm very intrigued by it. Then it just feels like a chore. Yeah, well, I'm gonna have to pretend like I'm twisting a knob, or I'm gonna have to pretend like I'm looking at my wrist and pushing some imaginary buttons, and that's so much fun. I'm here to tell you, that is not what makes video games fun. It is also not a fun thing to do in a video game. This particular game doesn't take advantage of the eye tracking, although I can see where it could be helpful. I can also see where it could be a complete disaster. You have to track your eyeballs when you're playing Tetris. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I really trust the idea. My eyes tend to wander a lot. I'm trying to look down a little bit so that in the streaming view it makes more sense. I was noticing that when I was watching playback, that it seemed like everything was off-center, and to the 2D view, yes, everything is off-center. I don't know why they can't fix that 2D view, but I guess it's not that important for most people if you're just having a solitary VR experience, I see that circle that appears when you finish a level, as you're zooming into that circle. On my end, it's a little high. Like I'm not in the center of that circle as we're zooming through it. And I might have to make some adjustments, before we play our next game. It's just one of those things is I wish the center of your view was a goal that they had in mind when they, make these VR screens. Where should they be positioned? Well, they should be positioned in the center of your view. The center of your view should be, looking straight at you, not slightly up and above to the left, which is kind of where I see it on my side. It doesn't seem like I can make much of adjustment of it either. Yeah, there we go. How long it's gonna stay there, I don't know. I like that horse, that that horse effect there with the rider. Yeah, it's actually walking right in front of me. Which is cool stuff, and he's walking in front of the screen too, which is maybe not so cool. Super rude, dude. Like somebody walk in front of you in the movie theater. Going fast. I'm cooking with gas. And don't worry, we'll still play Discronia. I just, I need a break from pretending to look at my wrist for a while. Pushing buttons that don't have any resistance and don't have any weight in my head. I just need to not do that for a little while. I don't know who's demanding those experiences, but holy crap, man, get a life. I just want a video game. I don't need an experience. I want a video game with a cool display. That's much to ask. Oh, okay, I don't know. Why the hell did I do that? Myself in the corner here. Yeah, see, this is what Tetris gives me. It gives me a cool looking VR display, but I still get to play a video game. Like, I imagine there was probably some pitch meeting on playing Tetris where you actually had to reach your hands out and grab Tetrises and, you know, or Tetraminos, and then put them in a box. Like, I'm sure there's some moron out there who thinks that that would make good Tetris gameplay. And I hope that idea never sees the light of day. You know, where you absolutely have to have some sort of weird-ass experience, an experience which you would never actually want to have in real life. Let's try to put that in a video game. See, this stuff is cool. All the little bells around here. Again, it doesn't take much to make a really great VR experience. It just takes, you know, being able to look at stuff with a virtual display, seeing, you know, actual depth and size. I mean, to me, that's the best thing about VR. It's also the most scary thing because you don't realize how big things are until you start seeing them in VR. You know, how tall buildings really are, and, you know, how short your characters really are. In comparison to everything else, you know. Like a gigantic boss in Horizon, I mean, it really is gigantic. Like looking up and not quite being able to see the top of something is generally how things feel in a video game in VR. It just shows you like the depth of things and you know, how to really scale in real life, if you know video games are like real life, which thankfully they are not. You know, I hope video games will always be in the realm of fantasy, pleasant fantasy. Well, I mean, sometimes occasionally horror fantasy, but you know, when I'm feeling brave, yes. I kind of shudder to think when they make a new Fatal Frame in VR. I really look forward to it, and I sort of dread it at the same time. Occasionally one of those little pixies actually looks like it's about to hit you on the nose. Like I said, sometimes these effects are a little disturbing. But I say in a good way. I'm not gonna get anything that I want, or... No, I see that's a no. Oops. Oh, well, I wasn't really moving. Yeah, I really messed that one up. I know, I was having such a relaxing time. And you made the Tetris go fast. See, I'm trying to lower my display. Trying to get the bottom of that Tetris stack to actually appear on the bottom. Almost there. Fireworks. Yeah, apparently the new Fantavision is supposed to be good in VR. I can't bring myself to buy that game though. Another rhythm action game with a firework motif. It's just not really my thing. I mean, it wasn't my thing when the PlayStation 2 launched either. I think the worst part about the original Fantavision is like the music was just public domain music. It just was not good. Was not fun to play with. I mean, hire some people to make some music, man. Sony owns a bunch of music studios. Oh goodness. Too fast for me. Now the images appear a little crooked too. Like I've been trying to adjust the headset so that it doesn't have that sort of crooked vision. Again, I don't know what it is. It's not the only VR headset that has presented this sort of, off-center view. I don't know if that's just part of the design or what. It's super annoying because I like things to be straight and perpendicular. I mean, if I can help it. Yeah. Hold on a minute. Hey there. Oh, baby. Sorry, catastrophe. Catatonic. Catamaran. Actually, come to think of it, why don't we stop it there? This is audap. You've been watching Tetris Effect Connected, running on the PlayStation 2 VR. Oh, here. On the PlayStation 5. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching. I will see you at the next stream.